All right, I got waitlisted for the first Autocross event today, so we're still gonna take the car out and try to have some fun. Alright, so welcome back. In the last episode that I've linked below, I got 4 new tires and new wheels for my 2004 Corvette Z06, and these are the Flow 1 Race Spec F4 wheels that I got from Tire Rack, wrapped in Hankook Ventus RS4s, which are a 200 tread wear performance tires specifically for Autocross. Now the total price for all of that was $2,352.42, plus another $120 to have a shop mount those tires. Then I also went through and did my spring tune-up to make sure this car was ready for the season, so now let's get it out on the road and see how it's actually driving with these changes, and whether or not this new wheel setup was worth spending almost $2,500 on. It sounds terrible, dude. Jetta, of course it's a Jetta. Now low speed, not a lot of difference so far. They're not tracking too bad. The only real difference is that turn-in feels a lot heavier. These front tires are now a lot wider than my old ones, and they're also a lot grippier, partially because they're newer, but also because they are just a much more aggressive compound. So I actually like my steering feel to be a little bit heavier. I think it feels a little bit better, if I'm honest, because I have a little more weight to it. It's not a huge difference, but it is noticeable. That light literally let 2 cars past. Oh, what a joke. Let's see if we can get on the gas a little bit here. Ooh, they still spin. They still spin. Wow. Whoops. Now it is a little bit chilly out today, so it's about 55-ish outside. But the point is I gotta get some temperature in these tires because it's not going to do it without a little bit of spirited driving. That this is my first ride out of storage on top of having the new wheels. Not only am I having to listen for anything that will be associated with the new wheels being off, I'm also wondering if anything broke from sitting over the winter. Oh, here we go. Ooh, hooking. It's hooking. Oh. Not gonna push it too hard here, but ample grip. I've got one of those like long cracks that runs the entirety of a lane. This definitely grabs and pulls on that. Effortless. A lot of grip. I think the alignment needs to be done. I think it needs a little bit more camber. The turn-in going left versus right feels a little bit uneven. Other than that, the car is pretty good. I'm actually really impressed and really surprised in a good way about how the feel of the whole car changed by doing just the wheels and the tires. So there is a little bit of road noise. This car is supposed to be more of a raw car anyway, so that road noise is not a huge deal to me. We are next to Grand Cherokee here. It's not a Hellcat, we're good. Getting a little bit of throttle cut there from the wheel spin and the traction control system. The acceleration through 3rd gear feels a little bit slower. I don't know if it's just a little slower than the factory wheels and that I haven't driven this for a couple months because it's been in storage, or if I'm just so used to Viper speeds at this point that I'm no longer satisfied by 400 something horsepower. Oh! Holy shit! Oh my god! This is like very confidence inspiring to a point that it's an issue, and I forgot how much faster this feels at the same speed relative to a lot of other cars that are insulated better. I'm going about 75 in this car, and it feels the same as about 90 to 95 feels in the Cayenne, because that's got the thicker glass, it's got way less road noise. But if you're looking for the sensation of speed, this is where you're gonna get it. vibration at highway speed. So it's not terrible. I'm just being hypersensitive to it at the moment because I'm like just put all this on. We'll do a couple more rips, then I'm gonna go home, retorque the wheels, and I think we should be good to go. Does a 100-mile-an-hour flyby. He just cut within a foot of two different cars to cut across two lanes and then pass people halfway in the breakdown lane. So I will not be doing that because I personally value living more than I care about getting ahead of 5 cars. I expect to find them about half a mile down the road, rolled over a few times, and I wouldn't be against it. It's Darwinism. Oh my God, that's a lot of grip, lot of grip, lot of grip. Oh, that is terrifying and beyond my ability. Oh, brakes work. This car might be worth keeping after all. That's that's fun. That's fun. Pulling it out of storage perspective, everything's looking good. My oil and coolant temps are good. My oil pressure is good. It's holding in the right spot. Voltage is in check. The one thing I have noticed that is tire specific is that my speedometer is no longer accurate. It's not off by a lot, but it is off. So when the speedometer said 75, GPS was putting me at about 77 to 78, kind of going back and forth between them. If my mental math is right, it's about 3% off, which kind of makes sense given the size of these tires relative to the stock ones. Most of what I plan to do with this car is track riding anyway. That's why I got the tires I got, but I have to get to and from the track. That makes me a little bit nervous because if I forget about it at any point, and I'm just cruising along on the highway one day and I think I'm doing 75 and a 65, but I'm really doing 78, suddenly that is just fast enough for them to now be able to justify pulling me over and giving a ticket. Because 10 to 11 is kind of the sweet spot where you can get away with it around here. When you start to get closer to 15 miles an hour, they're not quite as flexible in my experience and in the experience of those I know. So when I take the car in for state inspection, that might be something I look into. So if it is an inexpensive fix, I'm gonna get it done. But if they have to pull out the dash and do like a speedo correction factor, you're instantly talking $1,000 plus at that point. That's no longer worthwhile for me. This is a budget track car. Having a very, very minor speed difference that I can be conscientious of is not, at least to me, worth $1,000 or $1,500 to fix. Oh yeah, the slow-mobile's getting out of my way. It is hooking pretty good. Wow. First, second gear there, I went all the way to the floor pretty quickly. I didn't roll into it like I normally do. Little bit of throttle cut from the traction control again, but that was quicker than I expected it to be. Oh boy. I feel like I'm always craning my neck to see out of this thing, partially because I am, and I'm also hitting my head on this bar if I sit upright. So this would undoubtedly kill me in a rollover. Second gear roll, it hooks no problem. All right, new tires work. They work good. I'm very happy with this purchase. I always hate spending money on new tires, but especially on tires like this where they just grip so much better and they really change the entire feel and performance level of the car. It's a little bit less of a hard pill to swallow because you do get that really satisfying feel afterwards. That is, oh, that's good. That's good. The whole feel of the car has changed from this. I'm actually really happy with that. I do hear them picking up everything though and sandblasting the rear of the car. So that is a factor if you're worried about your paint. That's why I wrapped this thing though. This is a lot more change than I thought there would be from only changing the wheels and tires. I thought that the car was still gonna be like a little meh, and that there wouldn't be a ton of tangible difference to the driving experience. This actually makes the car a lot more enjoyable. Like, oh, that's fun. That is fun. I'd hate to say it, I almost think that was worth the money. All right, I get it now. I get the Corvette thing now. I was not on the Corvette page before. I'm getting there. This is definitely the most gas I've consumed on a trip like this in quite a while. Almost got hit by a Civic with a flat tire because they didn't use their turn signal. Oh, I can just smell oil. Not pleasant. All right, new wheels are officially not bad. Not bad. The tires mostly are doing the bulk of the work here. Even in these cold temperatures, they are performing quite well, so I'm quite happy with that. Acceleration time, both from a stop and a roll, doesn't seem to be too heavily affected, and that includes both being sped up from the grip levels or slowed down from any difference in wheel weight. So comparable, nothing huge there, but I think the cornering speeds is where we're really going to gain some time on the track. So with that said, I think we're good to close this one out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh, I hit it. Yep, I drove right into the nose of my trailer. Like a fucking idiot. That sucks. Let's hope I didn't wreck the wrap. And by some absolute miracle, you can see that the wrap got a little bit peeled back by the tongue of my trailer in this spot, but there was zero damage whatsoever to the bumper or to the paint below the wrap. This literally just paid for the entire wrap in this one instance. All right, signing off. See you guys next time.